Supreme Court Monday ordered SBI to submit to Election Commission of India by 5 p.m. on Tuesday details of who donated how much anonymously to which political party through electoral bonds between April 19 and February 24, while dismissing the bank's plea for extension of deadline to provide this information till June 30. A five-judge bench also directed ECI to immediately publish on its website information already provided by political parties on funds they had received through electoral bonds. This data was furnished following Supreme Court's interim order on April 12, 19. Supreme Court asked the poll panel to upload all data SBI is to submit on its website by 5 p.m. on March 15. Supreme Court warned SBI Chairman D.K. Khara of contempt proceedings if it failed to comply with Tuesday's deadline. Referring to fake sections in SBI's brochure on electoral bonds, Apex Court debunked the bank's argument that extension of deadline was sought because of enormity of the task by pointing out that all relevant information was readily available with the bank, the sole pan-India authority to issue and encash such bonds. The mercury Monday crossed 30 degrees for the first time this year in Delhi, with Safdarjung losing 1.4 degrees Celsius, 3 notches above normal. Against 28 degrees Celsius on Sunday, temperature may dip again Wednesday when slight rain is likely. PM Modi Monday inaugurated the 19-kilometer Haryana section of Dwarka Expressway, calling it a milestone in infra development that will change travel experience between Delhi and Haryana and improve people's lives. Dwarka Expressway will boost economic activities in NCR, he said. The expressway total length is 29 km, of which 10 km is in Delhi. Union Home Ministry on Monday notified rules to operationalize the Citizenship Amendment Act 19 enacted 4 years ago in the teeth of resistance from opposition parties, civil society groups and others. The notification of Citizenship Amendment Rules 2024 marked the fulfillment of an important promise in BJP's 19 manifesto and will make nationals of Pakistan Afghanistan and Bangladesh belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi and Christian communities who migrated to India before December 31, 14 to escape religious persecutions eligible to apply for Indian citizenship. For citizenship by naturalization, the aggregate period of residence for such immigrants was cut under CEA to not less than 5 years from not less than 11 years. Madhya Pradesh High Court on Monday ordered a multidisciplinary scientific survey of the Bhojshala Temple and Kamal Mola Mosque complex in Dhar to ascertain the true character, nature and form of the site. It asked ASI to form a 5-member expert panel which efforts to have both communities represented and submit a survey report in 6 weeks. Bhojshala, an 11th century monument, it is considered a Saraswati temple by Hindus, while Muslims believe it's a mosque. Hindus perform puja on Tuesday and namaz is offered on Fridays. CAA was passed in Parliament in December 19 and got President's assent, but there were protests across India. For Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis or Christian in Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, CAA cuts qualifying length of residency in India before citizenship from not less than 11 years to not less than 5 years. Immigrants may apply via the electronic form with documents to prove that applicant is a national of Afghanistan, Pakistan or Bangladesh and entered India before 31/12/14. Exempts tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya and Tripura and areas regulated through inner line permit which include Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram and Nagaland. PM has delivered another commitment and realized the promise of makers of our constitution. Amit Shah said, this has paved the way for a respectable life of minority communities suffering from religious brutality. Yogi Adityanath, CM of UP, said. State government had repeatedly stated that CAA, which treats Muslim minorities as second-class citizens, will not be implemented in Kerala. That remains the position. All of Kerala will stand united in opposing the communally divisive law. Pinari Vijayan, CM of Kerala, said. India on Monday tested its most formidable Agni 5 ballistic missiles with a multi-warhead capability for the first time over the Bay of Bengal in a major boost for the country's credible strategic deterrence, especially against China. The fight test of the Agni 5 missile, which has a strike range of over 5,000 km with MIRV, multi-independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology under mission Divyastra was announced by PM Modi on X. Proud of our DRDO scientists mission Divyastra, the first flight test of indigenously developed Agni 5 missile with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology, he posted. An MIRV payload means a single missile is carrying several nuclear warheads, each programmed to be released at different speeds with different trajectories to hit different targets that can be hundreds of kilometers apart. All Agni series of missiles inducted by the Tri-Services Strategic Force Command carry only a single warhead. DRDO has been working for years for MIRVs and maneuvering warheads or intelligence re-entry vehicles for the missiles to defeat enemy ballistic missiles defense system and ensure effective retaliation to a first strike by a advisory, as reported by Times of India earlier. Highway projects will bring down congestion and help fight air pollution, Union Road Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari said on Monday at the inauguration of 19-kilometer Gurgaon section of the Dwarka Expressway. High pollution levels in NCR are a concern and have led to several PILs in Supreme Court. Highway infrastructure projects worth rupees 65,000 crore are being executed in NCR, out of which work worth rupees 35,000 crore has been completed. The rest will be done by the end of the year, said Gadkari. Major highway projects that have been completed in NCR including the Delhi Meerut and Eastern Peripheral Expressway, the Sohna Highway and a portion of the Urban Extension Road 2. Among major projects on which work is underway are the Delhi-Dehradun Expressway and the DND flyover Sohna link. Gadkari said government is keen on protecting the environment while carrying out development work, and nearly 12,000 trees were transplanted during the construction of Dwarka Expressway. PM Modi on Monday said the Dwarka Expressway will shift gears not just in vehicles but also in the lives of people of the NCR, while inaugurating it along with laying the foundation stone and dedicating 112 highway projects worth rupees 1 lakh crore virtually across states. Addressing a rally after opening a 19-kilometer stretch of Dwarka Expressway in Gurgaon, PM Modi said rupees 9,000 crore project would change the travel experience between Delhi and Gurgaon forever, and once the new high-speed corridor was linked to Mumbai Expressway, it would be the beginning of a new era. He said government had taken up several infrastructure projects in the National Capital Region with a holistic vision of development, including Eastern Peripheral, Delhi Meerut and Dwarka Expressways. PM highlighted how the 230-kilometer expansion of the metro in the last 10 years and the ongoing DND Sohna spur will improve transportation and reduce air pollution in the region. In one of the biggest infrastructure programs before the announcement of poll dates, PM said the only difference between challenges and opportunities is in the thought, and to convert problems into opportunities is Modi's guarantee. He said that 29.5-kilometer Dwarka Expressway is one such example which will boost economic activities in its influence zone. While highlighting government's focus on the fast pace of infrastructure development across the country, he said earlier governments would inaugurate small projects and brag about these for 5 years, but the speed at which BJP government is working, we don't have enough time to unveil them all. In less than 3 months, in 24 projects worth rupees 10 lakh crore are either being inaugurated or their foundation stone have been laid. The number of registered voters in the national capital has registered a 6.5% increase in comparison to 19 when the previous Lok Sabha elections took place. However, their number has came down by 5.2% in the New Delhi parliamentary constituency. According to the Election Commission data, the numbers of voters in New Delhi decreased from 15 lakh in 19 to 14 lakh in 24. All other 6 parliamentary constituencies, however, registered a spike in the number of voters ranging between 4.8 and 12%. Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated piped natural gas access in 11 villages along with development projects in a number of villages in the capital on Saturday. Today is an important day for villages in Delhi as they will now get a smooth supply of cooking gas 24/7 at an economic rate. They won't have the tension of having to book or face delayed supply of cylinders, said Shah. We are also laying the foundation stone of development works in 178 villages to improve the services and the standard of living of the residents here. During the event, Shah had conversation with several villagers through video conferencing. The development projects will be executed by Delhi Development Authority under the central government's Delhi Gramodaya Abhiyan. The aim is to develop and create necessary infrastructure in the urbanized villages and new urban areas, for which DDA has been granted rupees 960 crore. The PNG network implemented by Indraprasth Gas Limited at a cost of rupees 20 crore is spread across a 100 square kilometer area. Delhi government's East Delhi complex of weight and measures department, which is being equipped with advanced laboratories to save time consumed in procuring necessary verification, stamping and calibration of the weights and measuring instruments, have become operational. It was inaugurated at Vishwas Nagar by Minister Imran Hussain on Monday. In future, the facility will also have provisions for auto meter recalibration. Currently, it is being done only at the taximeter unit in Wazirpur, said a senior official. The meter recalibration takes months even after fair revision in Delhi. The building spans a total built-up area of this square meters with each flyover this and this. The minister said that the building would now work as the headquarters of the legal meteorology department. The new office complex will also have 2 zonal offices and state-of-art labs and instruments. It has been 10 months since Delhi government announced its smart streetlight policy, under which it was to convert all the 90,000 streetlights maintained by the Public Works Department to smart light. The aim of fixing the problem in the conventional sodium vapor lamps and reducing electricity consumption is, however, yet to literally see the light of day. It is disappointing that the bureaucratic delays have hindered progress. The files are languishing in various offices, claimed Delhi government in a statement in response to queries about the policy. A point of technicality that the project faced was obtaining the approval of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, which owns around 1400 km of the city roads. In September last year, MCD said that as it was one of the functions of a municipal body to maintain streetlights, and therefore the projects could be implemented on the roads that we were transferred to PWD for maintenance in 2012. AAP National Convener and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Monday said the notification of the implementation of the CAA just weeks before the Lok Sabha elections was an attempt to distract people's attention from the real issues. In a statement on micro blogging site X, he said that while the poor and the middle class were badly impacted due to the inflation and unemployed youth were struggling to get jobs, the BJP-led central government had implemented the CAA. The BJP-led central government are promising citizenship to the minorities from 3 neighboring countries in India. They means that they want to bring people from neighboring countries to India and settle them. Why? To create your vote bank, Kejriwal said. When your youth do not have employment, who will provide jobs to people coming from neighboring countries? Who will build houses for them? Will the BJP provide them employment? Will the BJP build houses for them? Kejriwal asked. The CAA aims to confer Indian citizenship on persecuted non-Muslim migrants, Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, Parsis and Christians who have migrated from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan and arrived in India before 2014. The act had faced criticism from the opposition. Riots had erupted in parts of the city, leading to the killing of more than 50 people in 2020 over protests against making CAA a law. Jawaharlal Nehru University Students' Union JNU-SU election will happen on March 22 after a gap of 4 years. The results are expected on March 24. The last election in JNU was held in September 19. The election committee had outlined the process. It said that the display of the tentative voter list for corrections would be done till Tuesday. The correction window will remain open from 9 to 5 p.m. Nomination forms will be issued on March 14. On March 15, nominations can be filed between 2 and 5 p.m. Candidates can withdraw their nominations between 10 to 1 am on March 16, following which the final list will be out on the same day. The total number of registered students in the university are 7,700. The university governing body meeting is slated for March 20, followed by a presidential debate among the candidates. Hostel allotment, water problems, PhD scholarship, and fee hikes are issues that have remained unresolved due to the lack of representative, some students believe. The demand by the student union pressured the JNU administration to conduct the election in accordance with the recommendations of the Lingod Committee. Following the Supreme Court order, the Union Ministry of Human Resource Development had constituted a panel under J.M. Lindo, a former chief election commissioner, to make recommendations on issues related to students' bodies and campus elections. The panel submitted its report on May 26, 2006. The committee suggested that union elections should take place within 6 to 8 weeks of the beginning of the semester. In 19 SFTs, Eshe Ghosh was elected the Junsu president with defeating ABVP's Manish Jangid, who got 1100 votes. The Kirodimal College auditorium, where cinematic biggies such as Amitabh Bachchan, Satish Kaushik, Vijay Krishna Acharya cut their teeth, will get a fresh lease of life after being in a shambles of 15 years. Built in 1954, the college auditorium will now undergo a renovation for which Delhi University Vice Chancellor Yogesh Singh laid the foundation stone on Saturday. The renovation, which cost rupees 11 crore, has attracted a rupees 15 lakh donation from Bachchan and rupees 2.5 crore from other alumni. The Ministry of Culture has sanctioned rupees 6 crore. We will not change the foundation design of the auditorium because of the heritage structure and sensitivity of the alumni base, Dinesh Khattar, the principal, told. In 2003, the auditorium roof began leaking. After small repairs in 2005, an architect was asked to design a repair and renovation plan. However, no action was taken and the auditorium continued sliding into despair. In 2010, the structure was declared unsafe. Entry was halted. Numerous efforts, including 2 alumni meets, one in Delhi and another in Mumbai, kick-started the fundraising campaign. In 2016, Satish Kaushik was nominated as chairman of the KMC Alumni Executive Committee to focus on bringing together the alumni working in Mumbai. Captain team with Bachchan in December 16. A team led by Kirodimal College principal made a representation at the Ministry of Culture in February 24, which then awarded the college the grant. The contribution also rose rupees 4 crore through the grant by the college governing body. Architectural firm KLM Designs and CPWD, which is the executive agency, are now on board for the renovation. Lok Sabha Secretariat on Monday asserted that Parliament had exclusive jurisdiction over the internal functioning and procedures and was not answerable to judiciary, as it justified the expulsion of TMC's Mahuma Moitri for sharing her exclusive Lok Sabha member portal access, login and one-time password OTP 47 times with Dubai-based businessman Darshan Hiranandani, which was unethical and could potentially risk national security. In a firm response, Lok Sabha Secretariat invoked Article 122 of the Constitution and said as such proceedings of Parliament cannot be called into question, alleging any irregularity of procedure, that the House of People is the sole judge of the lawfulness of proceedings before it. Right to be elected to Parliament and right to continue as such is not traceable to any of the fundamental rights. Hence, Moitra's petition under Article 32 of the Constitution is not maintainable. Just weeks before India conducted the key flight test on Monday of its over 5,000 km range Agni 5 intercontinental ballistic missile, which is believed to be capable of targeting nearly all of China, Beijing sent its second research vessel to the Indian shores. Besides, the first one was already anchored off Maldives to likely keep an eye on the test of the crucial missile with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology that only 5 countries US, Russia, China, France and the UK possess till now. According to maritime analyst provider Marine Traffic, Chinese ship Xiang Yang Hong 01 departed from the Chinese port on February 23. Open source intelligence expert Diamond Simon showed that a 25-ton ship entry into the Bay of Bengal on Sunday on social media platform X. The Shanyang Hong-01 is now less than 260 nautical miles, about 480 kilometers, of the coast of Visakhapatnam, which is believed to have the base of India's nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. The Agni 5 test was conducted from the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island in Odisha. India on March 7 issued a NOTAM, Notice for Air Mission, that is mandatory before a missile or rocket test over the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean region spanning 3,350 km to alert its neighbors from the probability of the missile or rocket test. The spy ship is likely to have watched the entire missile test and calculated data of its range and capability. Though China says these vessels are for research purposes only, India as well as some Western countries feel that the fleet of the Chinese scientific research ship is collecting sensitive data about its rivals' naval assets of the Indian Ocean region for military purposes, especially for submarine operations. This is not for the first time that a Chinese vessel has been entering the IOR just ahead of a missile test. In November 2022, a Chinese research vessel Zhuangwang 4606 entered the IOR days before a planned missile test. India later cancelled the NOTAM. In December that year, India issued another NOTAM in order to conduct Agni 5 tests from the Abdul Kalam Island of Odisha, and this time China's Yuaneng 05 came to the IOR. Soon after CAA was enacted in December 19, violent protest has broken out in many parts of the India, with many terming it as a law meant to disenfranchise and deport Muslims lacking valid citizenship papers. Government has reportedly said CAA will not take away citizenship of any Indian, irrespective of his or her religion. This act is only for those who have suffered persecution for years and have no other shelter in the world except India, a senior Home Ministry official emphasized on Monday. It will remove legal barriers to rehabilitation and grant of citizenship to eligible refugees from the 3 neighboring countries, giving them a chance to lead dignified lives after decades of suffering. Citizenship rights will protect their cultural, linguistic and social identity, give them economic rights including for purchase of property, and enable their free movement, the official added. Opposition parties criticize government's decision, which has been anticipated for at least a couple of months now, for its timing coming at its days ahead of the impending announcement of Lok Sabha poll schedule. BJP celebrated it as a proof of its commitment to walk the talk, with party circles flagging it as another instance of the saffron outfit standing by the persecuted Hindus and others. However, PM Modi did not react to the development. CAA's rollout is also going to have repercussions for election in West Bengal and to a lower degree in Assam, which are home to millions of Hindu refugees from Bangladesh. Immigrants eligible under CAA may apply for Indian citizenship by registration or naturalization in any electronic form to the empowered committee through the district level committee. The constitution of these two committees are separately notified by government on Monday. Every application must be accompanied by one of the specified documents to prove that the applicant is a national of Afghanistan, Pakistan and or Bangladesh, and that he or she entered India before December 14, and an affidavit from the applicant affirming to fulfill the eligibility criteria and giving his or her address in India and the date of which he or she entered India. A copy of the applicant's valid or expired foreign passport or residential permit is available, may be attached. Some additional documentation may be required depending on whether the applicant seeking citizenship by registration is a person of Indian origin, married to a citizen of India, minor child of citizens of India, person whose parents are registered as citizens of India or who of those parents was a citizen of independent India or is an OCI card holder. A separate application form is specified for each of these categories. The application form must be accompanied by a declaration that the applicant has adequate knowledge of one of the 8 scheduled languages. Once an application is submitted, an acknowledgement will be generated. The district level committee shall verify the documents. Once everything is found in order, the designated officer of DLC shall administer the oath of allegiance to the applicant. The oath signed by the designated officer will then be forwarded in electronic form to an empowered committee along with confirmation regarding verification of documents. Recurrent failure to appear for the oath of allegiance may lead to refusal of citizenship. The empowered committee will take a call on grant of citizenship. Every person registered as citizens of India or made a citizen by neutralization shall be issued a digital certificate of registration, neutralization or a hard copy of the same if asked. Bengal CM Mamata Banerjee was the first lone strident voice against the centre notifying CAA rules on Monday, with the rest of the opposition largely restricting themselves to questioning the timing of the move or insisting that doubts, confusion, and the fear among sections of the people be settled first. We will not allow CAA here. This is Bengal Mamata, one of the more vocal critics of the citizenship law since it was tabled in Parliament, said in Kolkata minutes before the MHA notification arrived. We will not allow CAA to be used to put people in detention camps. We won't accept NRC at any cost. Every person living in India is an Indian citizen, and a new law should not deprive people of their old rights. The Trinamool Congress chief said. SP President Akhilesh Yadav termed the move to implement CAA BJP's game of distraction. Without targeting the law, he said BJP should explain why lakhs of Indians gave up their citizenship during the party's 10-year stint at the centre. BSP chief Mayawati too took her social media handle to say that BJP government should have taken care of to remove apprehensions about the law instead of trying to implement it before the polls. Congress called the notification of the CAA rules BJP's ploy to polarize votes. It said the move was time to shift focus from Supreme Court's upbraiding of the government on the electoral bonds scandal. Calling him as an old partner and alluding to their days together as Pracharaks, PM Modi on Monday commended Haryana CM Manohar Lal Khattar's leadership, recalling how the two of them share a dari and Khattar would take him around Haryana on a bike. आज मुझे खुशी हो रही है, हम भी साथ हैं, आपका भविष्य भी साथ है. The PM said in a firm endorsement of the CM, putting to rest speculation about the imminent change of leadership in state, which will vote in assembly election later this year after Lok Sabha polls. BJP, which did not reach majority mark in 19, runs a coalition government in state with Dushyant Chautala's JJP, applauding Khattar for his commitment to the state. Modi, speaking at inauguration of Dwarka Expressway, said, "In those days, Manohar Lal had a bike on which we used to travel across state. He would drive and I would ride pillion. We would have come to Gurgaon from Rohtak via a very narrow road because there was not proper infrastructure." The second and supposedly final Central Election Committee meeting of BJP in presence of PM Modi and other senior leaders who held till date on Monday, and the party is likely to announce candidates for more than 150 seats on Tuesday. The party had announced a list of 195 candidates last week after the first CEC. Israeli PM Netanyahu said Sunday that at least 13,000 terrorists were among Palestinians killed during Israel's war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip and vowed to press ahead with an offensive in the south of enclave, a move US President Joe Biden had described as his red line. Nearly 31,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza during the 5-month-long war that began from Hamas militants attacked Israel on October 7, killing 1,200 people and seizing 253 hostages. According to Israeli tellies, Gaza government does not break down the death toll between civilians and Hamas militants, but it has 72% of those killed were women and children. Hamas dismisses Israel's toll from militants as attempts to portray fake victories. Legendary late actor Dilip Kumar's ancestral home in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province and national heritage is almost on the verge of collapse after being severely damaged in recent rains, and officials said. The torrential rain exposed all claims of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Archive Department about rehabilitation and renovation of the house. Kumar was born in 1922 in the house located in Mohalla Khudahad near the historic Quaisa Khuyani Bazar in Peshawar city and spent his initial 12 years here before leaving for India in 1932. The house was declared Pakistan's National Heritage Monument in July 1314 by then PM Nawaz Sharif. Kumar had visited his house once and sentimentally kissed the soil. Shakil Wahidullah Khan, Secretary of Heritage Council KPK Province, said the recent rains badly damaged the house, and despite the previous KPK government pledging so many grants, on a single penny has been spent to protect and preserve it. The property was built in 1880. Newly elected Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari administered the oath of office to a 19-member federal cabinet headed by PM Shehbaz Sharif on Monday, a month after controversial general election had exacerbated Pakistan's worsening political polarization. Several loyalists of former three-time PM Nawaz Sharif and senior member of the governing PMLN, who have even served in his early cabinets in 1990s, were included in the new cabinet, indicating that the elder Sharif will have a strong say in decision making in his younger brother's government. PPP, PML and ally have refused to be part of the cabinet. Among those sworn in are Ishaq Dar, this and this. Pesher Mohammad Shami, who is recuperating from an ankle injury, is expected to make his comeback with the home test series against Bangladesh later this year. BCCI Secretary Jaisa said Shami missed the 5-match test series against England and will also sit out of IPL. He will also miss the T20 World Cup in June. India will host Bangladesh for 2 tests and 3 T20s in September. Shami's surgery is done. He is back in India. Shami's return is likely for home series against Bangladesh. KL Rahul needed an injection. He has started rehab and is at the NCA, said Shah while talking to media here. Rahul is expected to turn up for Lucknow Super Giants in the IPL, having undergone treatment in London. England head coach Brendan McCullum said they will have to do some deep thinking about their approach after being exposed in the final 4 matches in the India, but is convinced their first series defeat under his watch will make them a better side. Sometimes you can get away with things, but when you are exposed in the way we have been in the back end of the series in particular, it does require some pretty deep thinking and some adjustment to make sure we were staying true to what we believe in, McCullum told BBC Sport. If anything, we got more timid as the series went on, and that was because of the pressure and that was applied to us by the Indian lineup. McCullum said England would be a better side when they host West Indies for the 3-test match series in July, followed by home series against Sri Lanka. Legendary Australian cricket Ian Chappell had punched holes in the England skipper Ben Stokes' aggressive leadership tactics during the series against India, saying some of his decisions were responsible for visitors' 1-4 series humiliation. On the third evening of the 4th test, Stokes desperately needed to start India's chase with his best 2 bowlers and tried to claim at least 1 wicket. Incredibly, he gave the ball to a part-timer Joe Root and ignored the experience, probing bowling to Jimmy Anderson. India took full advantage and scored an invaluable 40 runs of just 8 overs, said Chappell in his column of ESPN Cricinfo. He said compounded his error by allowing too many easy singles on the final day by restoring the some questions-filled placings at a time when Stokes needed to be extremely brave as captain and hope he got lucky. He was abnormally conservative.